Ancient travellers left behind their golden travel accounts in the form of travelogues for the future generations to read, learn and delight. We bring those to you in our audio series, Travelogues in Time.
In today's edition, we have the third part of the travel accounts of Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, the French traveller who visited India in the 17th century. In the first two parts, we dwelt on the custom of reverence and veneration of animals and the detailed description of Jahanabad city of Delhi constructed by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, the throne of the king, nobles present in the court, the hall of Diwan, description of Agra city, its structure and tombs. The script is by Professor P.T. Haridas, member Indian Council for Historical Research, and presented by Kaushik Roy. Over to Kaushik Roy.
The social and religious customs are well explained by Tavernier. He says that the Hindus believe that the souls of men, on leaving their bodies after death, are presented to God. Based on the quality of life led by the deceased, God allots the soul to other bodies so that the same person is reborn several times into the world. Souls of men of evil life, degraded in their habits and engaged in all kinds of vices, are given to the bodies of inferior animals such as asses, dogs, cats, in order that they perform penance for their crimes in these infamous prisons. But it is believed that the soul which enters the bodies of cows is supremely happy because these animals are regarded as divinity. If a man dies with a cow's tail in his hand, that will suffice to render him altogether happy in a future life. As the Hindus believe in the passage of human souls in the bodies of animals too, they abhor the slaughter of any animal. They also believe that if they perform some religious pilgrimages and the giving of alms, the soul would pass on to the bodies of rajas or other rich persons as a reward for their good actions. The custom of burning or cremating the dead body of the Hindus is also very ancient. Generally, they burn the body, if possible, on the banks of holy rivers. The body is washed by river waters to complete the cleansing of those sins from which they have not been purified during life. When a person is dead, all those of his caste or tribe of that place assemble at the house of the deceased. The body is then placed on a litter covered with some fine cloth. They accompany the body to the place where it is to be cremated. The body is taken on the shoulders of those selected for that duty. They proceed chanting prayers to their gods and calling out Ram Nam Satya Hai. While carrying the body, someone would sound a small bell to give notice to others to pray for the deceased. When they reach the riverbed, the body is plunged into the water and then cremated. Ordinary people used common wood, but wealthy or nobles used sandalwood. It was also an ancient custom among Hindu women to perform sati, especially by the widows of the deceased. On the death of the husband, the wife withdrew to weep for him, and after some days her hair was shaved off. She despoils herself of all her ornaments and removed from her arms and legs the bangles and bracelets. The Brahmins would induce the lady that by performing sati they could live again in some other part of the world with which much glory and comfort. Tavernier mentions about 3 different ways of sati observed in various parts of India. In the kingdom of Gujarat, Agra and Delhi, this was practiced. On the bank of a river or tank, a kind of small hut of about 12 feet was built of reeds and all kinds of faggots. Pots of oil and other highly inflammable things were kept inside. This was done in order to make it burn quickly. The women were seated in a half-reclining position on a kind of pillow of wood, resting her back against a post. Her waist will be tied up to it. This was to prevent her escape on feeling the flame. In that position, she will hold the dead body of her husband on her knees, chewing betel all the time. After about half an hour, the Brahmin who was with her inside goes out, and the lady calls out to the priest to apply fire. The Brahmins, relatives and friends immediately do it, and pots of oil are thrown into the fire so that the women may suffer less by being quickly consumed. After the bodies are reduced to ashes, the priests take whatever is remained as gold, silver, copper, etc., which the women had. This was considered their right.
You have just heard the third part of the travel accounts of Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, the French traveller who visited India in the 17th century. The script was by Professor P.T. Haridas, member Indian Council for Historical Research, and presented by Kaushik Roy.
Travelogues in Time. Travelogues in Time.